Hey there, it's your Wisconsin wine guy, and I am back with another wine review. Now, these are wines that you can find on the shelves of your everyday liquor store, grocery store, and some wine shops. I go through, make a selection of wines, and bring them to you and give you my personal opinion. Very, very, very simple grading system here. I don't stand on ceremony. Thumbs up. I recommend that wine. Give it a try. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. 3/4. You know what? If I'm at a party and someone hands me a glass of wine and I'm digging it, I gotta find out what it is. And you know what? I like that wine. I'm gonna bring it home. I'm gonna buy some for my friends and share it with them. Halfway, wow, there was something about that wine. We just didn't jive. Thumbs down, ha, bust, out of here, bounce. All right. So there you have it. Very, very simple grading system. So now, on today's show, I said before, when one season ends, wine season begins. And I'm going to kind of slide you out of the summer into wine drinking season with this next wine. And this next wine has an interesting story for me because it's kind of close and dear to me. So the wine is going to be Petite-Petite. How many of you seen this label on your grocery store or anywhere you purchase wines on the shelves? I mean, what a fun label. I mean, there's so much. Try looking at this label after you finish the bottle. There's so much happening in this label. So Petite-Petite. Here's a quick side story. This was a wine that back when I had a wine shop, I believe the vintage that came out was 2004. 2004 I think was the first vintage, or 2005. You know, and so I was at a wine show and I saw this bottle. Like, this is such a cool bottle. Tasted the wine, like, oh my God, this is phenomenal. So I bought up a bunch of bottles, brought it back to my store, and I sold it. No one picked up this wine. So the year probably would have been 2004. This part was released in 2007. 2008, no one picked up that wine. I brought it back and just killed it. Now, I should say, after I had closed my store years later, now you can find this wine everywhere, people enjoying it, and I'm still sitting on my last 2005 vintage, in which I put up in a blind tasting with the 2015 vintage, and the 2005 just blew it out. All right, just blew the bag out of it. So I'm curious to find out what this is going to be like, you know, because I have that memory in my head. So we're looking at vintage 2018. The name of the wine is called Petite-Petite. And the reason why it's called Petite-Petite is because it's a combination of Petite Sirah and Petite Verdot. Now, look up those grapes. Those are some of the original grapes going back to the Bordeaux blends. You know, so Petite Sirah and Petite Verdot. Now, let's give it a pour. Now, you know, another side story. When I one of the first early memories of drinking wine, this was in the 80s, I want to age myself, I was given a deep, dark, inky, berry loaded wine, and it was my first experience with purple teeth. It was a Petite Sirah. So this was back in the mid to late 80s that I had my first Petite Sirah, and I fell in love with it way back then. It was a California-made Petite Sirah. I can't remember the brand, you know, but I've always been chasing, you know, a good Petite Sirah. So here we go. Look at that color. You get what I'm talking about? That is deep. That is inky. That is like dark grapes, almost like a blackberry. I mean, that is dark. That is rich, boy. Ooh, now the nose. Oh, nose. We got berries abound on the nose. Berries abound with subtle spice notes. And that's coming from the barrel aging, I'm sure. This is aged in French oak. Did my research on it. Wow, nice. Very nice on the nose. Oh, wow. I just love the smell of that. I mean, if you like, you know, rich, juicy wines, you get this. Now, it is made in Lodi. Those who've been familiar with the Lodi region, most of the wines, if not all the wines, come from that area. Juicy, juicy fruit. And this is no exception. Now, first things first, we must get a rinse. Because what happens when I rinse? If there's no acidity, there is no play. So here we go with the rinse. Now, wow. Nice acidity. Now for me, red wines don't get a pass when it comes to acidity. I want some liveliness in my wine. All right. So I like the acidity. Nice mouth water. I get some tannins there, but that was just my rinse. we're gonna like, focus in on the tannins and everything else, the structure and the balance on that next sip. So now here we go with the taste. Okay. Still holds true to that deep berry fruit, tobacco, smoke, plum, nice finish. You even get like subtle notes of vanilla, but very light, but definitely tobacco. Not only smoky, but bold. But again, on the palate, it's rich tasting, but has a subtle lightness to it. Okay, alcohol. We're looking at 14.5%. I would not, doesn't have an alcohol burn to me because the fruit just comes straight through, just come barreling through. So now, I'm drinking this and I'm thinking about my 2004 and 2005 vintage, which is probably unfair because this is 2018. But that's what I have to compare it to. I could go to 2015 also. In fact, in 2015, I wasn't too impressed with it. There was something about it that was missing. But in 2018, I think they're coming back to its origins. All right, the 2018 I'm digging. I like this. I like the combination of the Petite Sirah, Petite Verdot. I like the mouthfeel. I like the finish. I think it's going to be great. Again, as we said in the winter, great with a steak. Great with some nice roast or stews or something. It's going to be nice for a nice, full flavored, savory meal. But it's also enjoyable to drink on its own. Petite-Petite. I'm a fan. Other than the 2015, I've always been a fan of this. But the 2018 has brought back my faith. And I'm going to give this a thumbs up. So the 2018 Michael and David Petite-Petite, get that, look at that label. Oh my God, look at it. There's so much going on here. It's going to get a thumbs up from the Wisconsin Wine Guy. And you know what? I'm going to enjoy this. And I hope you will enjoy this as well. And it's your Wisconsin Wine Guy saying, as always, blame no other wine. Let your palate be the guide in selecting your next wine. And I'll see you in the next wine review. Ciao.